Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary, can you please have roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Scott Funk.
Present.
Councilmember Liz Silva, excused absence. Councilmember Lorraine Worthy.
Present.
Councilmember Maria Orozco.
Present.
Mayor Jose Rios.
Present. Presentation from
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So we have David Armanesco and Elizabeth Diaz here. They're going to be sharing about the work they've been doing on behalf of the City of Gonzales this last year. I think the council wanted to understand a little bit more as to the excellent work they do for us. And so I invited them to share the latest and greatest that they've been working on with us in this last fiscal year.
Well, thank you very much. It's really an honor and a pleasure to be here this evening. Our relationship with the City of Gonzales has been really one that's been very fulfilling. We have really enjoyed the fact that we've been working with you for this long period of time and really been able to get to know the city and feel the beautiful value of this city and how it treats its residents and citizens. So our role since 2015 has been to actively engaged in promoting the City of Gonzales and focusing on the city's uniqueness, responsiveness to development, community partnerships, economic, environmental sustainability, youth empowerment, and proactive efforts to build a healthy community. The objectives that we had were to increase awareness of the city's accomplishments and promote the success of the community, to position the city as a regional leader, to promote Gonzales' economic development vision, safe, healthy, diverse, sustainable community with small town charm, and draw attention to the city leadership's modern and forward-thinking approach to projects and the strong relationships and partnerships that have been developed. Our work since 2015 included media relations, award applications, grant writing, marketing pieces, and various writing projects. But to go in depth on this, I'm going to ask and introduce you, for those who have not had the pleasure of meeting Elizabeth Diaz, who's vice president of our company and who has been largely responsible for the management of all the priorities for the City of Gonzales, to take you through the rest of this. And I'll be back again during the presentation. So welcome, please, Elizabeth Diaz.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can you go ahead and go to the next slide, please? So as I think David just mentioned, our last update to City Council was in 2020. And so this report primarily focuses on 2021 to 2023. In 2021 and 23, we wrote 48 press releases, which resulted in 97 articles in local, regional, and national publications. Copies of all of these articles can be accessed through the QR code that's in the PowerPoint presentation. That will include links to read the articles in full if you'd like to. The CLIP report does only go through June of 2023. That was the last time we updated, and there have been a few articles that have been published since then, including recently the LAFCO annexation article that was in the Salinas Valley Tribune. Next slide, please. This is an example of just some article highlights for the last 3 years. These are regional and national publications. So it's taken the reach of Gonzales outside of the local area. KCRW is a radio station in the LA area, and Strong Towns is a national blog. And both of these articles resulted from our media pitching to these publications. The Press Democrat is a newspaper in Santa Rosa, and we'll talk a little bit more about Joe Matthews, who wrote that article, a little later in the presentation. Slide, please. Here we have just a few examples of some of the local articles that have been written about Gonzales. You will see in the clip report, the Salinas Valley Tribune has written many articles. They almost always publish anything that we send to them. And in fact, the editor, we have a really great relationship with the editor, and he sometimes will contact us before we even had a chance to put out a press release and ask us for information. KON, Voices of Monterey, Entrevision, those are just a few other local publications that I've written about Gonzales over the years. Next slide, please. If you're not familiar with Coastal Grower Magazine, it's a quarterly magazine that's published, and the focus of it is really heavy on agriculture. The circulation is about 5,500, and different than newspapers, they don't write the articles. You pitch them about a theme or a story idea, and then you, if they accept it, then you're able to write the article and submit it to them. This is another publication we have a great relationship with, and we've pitched many articles to Coastal Grower over the years. There have been 8 articles in the magazine since 2016, excuse me, and the most recent was submitted this year about the community center, and that will be published in early November. Next slide, please. You may remember from past reports that we've given to the city, we invited Joe Matthews to visit Gonzales in 2017, and he was so impressed with the town. And after his visit, he wrote an article that year in 2017. Over the years, we've continued to send him information and keep in contact, pitch him on ideas, send him our press releases, and really build and cultivate that relationship. The great thing about Joe is that he's a syndicated columnist, so his articles aren't just published on his website, which is Zocalo, but they're also published in newspapers throughout California. Over 30 different newspapers have permission to publish his articles. Next slide, please. So this is one example of one of Joe's articles, and it was about the GYC. It's the most recent one that he did in 2022, and about the Mental Health Project. And you'll see the list of newspapers that his column also ran in. So these newspapers have permission to publish his article. Not, all of them are the same. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less, but that's a pretty good representation of the reach that his articles have. Next slide, please. So these statistics here show the impact of the articles over the years. So we subscribe to a service called Coverage Book, and at the end of each year, we track the articles throughout the year. And then at the end of each year, we send the links to these articles through this subscription service, and they're able to generate and pull statistics for each article, which includes the circulation, viewers, if it's television. So for example, the total readership of all publications. So there were 39 articles in 2022 about the city of Gonzales. So they take all of the circulation and the readership for those publications, and the average is 16.7 million views for those 39 articles. And then they also provide us statistics for the number of clicks. So for example, 2022, the estimated article views was 133,000 clicks. And then they also give us statistics on social media. So if the article was shared on social media, then they provide that information to us as well. So this report includes articles from 2020 as well, because we haven't done a 2023 report yet. However, so far in 2023, there have been 26 articles written about Gonzales. So we're kind of on pace with the previous years. And next slide, please. So congratulations to the city on receiving these 2 awards, the Helen Putnam Award and the All-American City Award. Our team worked with Carmen to write the applications for these awards, and Carmen and Jessica actually, and then we also helped Carmen and Jessica with the content for the presentation that they gave in Colorado. You may also recall that our team wrote the applications for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation application, And during that process, there were 3 rounds of that application that lasted pretty much throughout the year. Next slide, please. For grant writing in 2021-22, we worked with Carmen to write the U.S. Conference of Mayors Childhood Obesity Prevention Grant and received $25,000 in 2021. In 2020, we also wrote a grant for the State Office of Emergency Services, and the city received $150,000 for that grant. A priority that was recently given to us by Carmen this year is to continue researching grant opportunities and grant funds available for the city, which we will be doing and have already started. In addition to grant writing, we have worked on a variety of other projects that are listed here on this slide. So our focus going forward will be to continue media relations, assisting with writing projects, message development, developing communication materials as needed, and continue to focus on grant research and writing. For grants, we have already researched some grants for the fire department, and there are opportunities available now through the Community Foundation for Monterey County Fire Relief Fund and also the Gary Sinise Foundation. And we have reached out to FEMA, and they will be supplying the notice of funding opportunities through FEMA toward the end of this year. And then in May of 2024, there's grant opportunities available through the Leary Firefighter Foundation. And then we also will be continuing our grant research through grants.gov.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So the benefits thus far that City of Gonzales has benefited by is the ability to have public relations experts, excuse me, available to support staff with public outreach and communication efforts is very valuable. This is an area that requires a level of expertise, contacts, relationships developed over time, and needs an ongoing effort and focus to be successful. So over the years, our work has increased the overall awareness of the City of Gonzales. We've built up the Gonzales Way brand. We've provided the city with grant funds. We've boosted economic development. We've strengthened and expanded partnerships, and we've produced results for you. And we are really proud of the fact that we can say we represent the City of Gonzales. So we look forward to continuing our productive relationship with you. Our current contract extends through June of 2024, and we will continue to have our sleeves rolled up and working and waiting for the phone calls from Carmen so that we can react, as well as being proactive on the part of this wonderful city. And I have to say, personally, having grown up in Monterey County, it's been really fascinating for me to see, because what I remember most early when I started here was the hits that I got from the linebackers at Gonzales High when we played against them. But, you know, seeing how this community is really a community about youth development, a community about people's health and staying close and communicating, it's such an exception in this whole valley. And so that's one of the reasons why we're so proud to be affiliated with you. So thank you very much for the opportunity of representing you. If you have any questions, we're honored to answer them.
Just to continue doing the good work that you do.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Well, and obviously you can tell Elizabeth loves this assignment.
Yes.
And I have to say that she's just done a phenomenal job, and we're really proud of that.
I also would like to say, keep going with those grants. That's something. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it.
People on Zoom can't hear, so you should speak into your mic.
I'm sorry, there's one other thing. We did give Mary, there's complete packets for each of you on this so that you can take your time going through it again if you missed anything. So.
Right. Thanks a lot. I can personally tell you that David and I have spent probably a little more time than he wants to spend with me, but we've been hammering away at trying to find some additional funds for the community center, and he's been great at it. Very patient, and willing to change the schedule to meet our schedule here with the potential donors. So again, David, thank you very much to you and your staff. All right. Next is public comments on anything not on the agenda. Anyone may make a comment for a period of not to exceed 3 minutes on anything not on the agenda. The council will listen to all communications, but may take no action. And I know that the last time or at the last meeting, we had a lot of comments regarding the H2A housing. At this point, I got to tell you, we don't even know if there's really an application at the county right now, because the county hasn't told us anything, whether that the H2A housing is moving forward or it's just standing still or what. And so the council is not sitting here like bumps on a log. We just really can't comment. There's really nothing to comment about. So,
but I think that someone else would like to speak on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you have 3 minutes to say your piece, and just understand though, we can't comment on anything that you're saying.
Yes, I'm aware. Actually, I looked it up and they haven't filed their paperwork yet. As of September 18th, they had not filed. And today I looked and I haven't found anything that they filed for the housing project. But in reference to the housing project.
State your name and address, please.
Sorry. My name's Marie Talley and I live at 1849 Burgundy Circle here in Gonzales.
Thank you.
Okay. So I attended one of the meetings, not the last one, but the one before. And they talked about having, because we were concerned regarding taxes, property taxes increasing.
Yes. Can you speak into the mic?
Sorry.
People are joining via Zoom, so they can't hear if you're not speaking on the mic.
So one of the concerns that we had was property taxes. And although there wasn't a good response, they did mention that there would be a bond fee. And so my concern is who's paying the bond fee? Normally, they charge bond fees to new housing or anybody that's purchased a house in the city of Gonzales. So that I think that should be a concern for the constituents of Gonzales. We have issues regarding sewer and water usage. That's going to be an increase to the usage of the sewer system and water system, garbage disposal. Although they said because they're outside of city limits, the police department would not be called. It would be the sheriff's department for any issues that they might have. So how is the police department going to be working with the sheriff's department to ensure that that issues are addressed timely? Because sometimes the sheriff's department, because of the large location that they're having to cover, are not readily available, and it may take an hour or so for them to even arrive. So that's another concern. Is the city opposing the current location of the build? The current location, many of us feel that it is not a good location. It's going to be near other homes, existing homes, and near schools that are proposed to be built in the future. The Benbrook housing and school project. So those are also concerns, the location of the building and how traffic is going to be affected. There's not a lot of outlets from that area. There's only two. There's the one down 5th Street, and I don't recall the one down Fanos Road. So in case of an emergency and evacuation, it really leaves it for lots of traffic and possible accidents. Loitering is a concern. A large number of people will be added to our population, 8 to 10%. So there's not a lot to do in Gonzales, although they said they are going to be building a recreation center and other facilities.
Sorry, that's your 3 minutes. I apologize.
Oh, is that my time? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, council members and staff. My name is Sandra Villegas, 1067 Symphony Drive, and I'm also here in regards to the De Arrigo project. So according to the local news, Salinas community members had a protest on the rise in prostitution in the last few years. Community members, that will be us if this project comes into Gonzales. Of course, bringing 1,200 men is going to attract other things. Along with the crime's going to rise, drugs, prostitution, and all this, our kids and our community members are going to be exposed to all this. So I'm here into pleading with the community members to not allow or provide water and sewer to this project. I'm not against the H2A program or any of the workers coming here to work, just if the location was moved somewhere else. My main concern is the safety of our kids in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Delia Gutierrez, 1614 Swante Way. I attended both of the H2A presentations that Dorrigo gave, and I also attended the last council meeting. And I just wanted to come up here and clarify some of the comments that were made by some members of the public at the last meeting, where they claimed that this is a political issue or racism. And I just wanted to say it's neither. It has nothing to do with your political stand on the H2A program. It has nothing to do with racism for the people that come here on that program. It's simply about traffic. Traffic, water, and sewer, which we should not allow them to connect to our water and sewer, because those resources need to be saved for family housing that we so desperately need. And, you know, I know that there's been builders that have been trying to build for the last 20 years. And I think that we need to prioritize that they were in line before this project came along, and we need to put our families, this community first. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosa Rodriguez, 307 Ayrshire Way. And good afternoon, or members of City Council and the public. Just to clarify, when I say said discrimination, and I did request an appointment with the attorney, Mr. Rodriguez, is that when we come up here, we want to make sure that we do not speak based out of bias and assuming things, and that when we speak up here, we speak the facts and not assume a potential, you know, this can happen to our kids, because that is not a fact. So we shouldn't be speaking out of bias. We should be speaking the facts. Since I only have 3 minutes, then I just want to move on to the next thing. One of the things that I did mention before, we used to have the restrooms out in Mayor Park, and I think in Central Park, where the doors used to open up and instead of being closed. To me, living close to a park, that would be more of a concern, because we do have registered sex offenders in this city, and I looked it up, and I think I can't remember the exact amount, so I won't quote it, because I need to know the facts before I say that. But to me, as a mom, you know, even though my kids are my young adults, I already have young adults, I would want those doors open. And the stalls are not in any way, you know, anybody's privacy. People can't see, you know, people that are in the stalls. I would be more concerned of kids being in there, and then, you know, these molesters out there, you know, not be able to hear the kids. So that would be my concern about the people that we already have here that are registered sex offenders. And there's a lot of them living here close to Central Park, really close. So, you know, that's my concern. So in addition to that, I would like to add the, I as a member of the community, I would like to be considered to go out and see where the new fixed MST bus stops are going to be throughout Gonzales, because that's going to affect a lot of members of our community that do not drive, or who, like me, I had to take my van into service, and I didn't have a van, and I had to depend on the on-call bus, and I know they're planning on doing fixed routes here in Gonzales, so I would like to participate in that. And in addition to that, the obesity grant, it would be nice to know a list of, I guess, of meetings or projects that have been done with that money, because I haven't, you know, heard of a lot of them. And also, it's been a year that we're waiting still for the California Breeze subcommittee, more than a year, since last June. So I know that you guys can't decide on anything on that, but please put it on the agenda, because I'm going to keep on coming to these meetings until it's on the agenda. And then I just attended the Harvest Festival out in Greenfield, and I had a blast. And I wish that Gonzales could also take some pride and have an annual festival of that nature. And they did that through grant monies from the Art Council. So hopefully whoever was here with the grants can work on that so that we could do something here too. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe I'll just hold it. My name's Lisa Gonzalez, 601 Rincon Road, and I'm also here about the H2A housing. And my main concern, I know we were told opposite things of what the council is saying. They made it sound like it was a done deal, but I do realize it's not. So I'm hoping that when it does come to you, or if I need to go to the Planning Commission first and speak there, but just what they've already said, that we have to consider our infrastructure. I've been here my whole life. It's the same 5th Street Bridge, the same roads, the water and sewer that they want to connect to. I believe that's the city's choice as to if they want to connect, let them connect or not. And I think in my bill that I got, our water and sewer is going to go up. So I'm thinking, well, it may go up again if we have them involved. I'm not familiar with our electricity grid, but is that going to hold all of the housing that they want to put in, plus the new housing that is planned in the future? And again, the traffic. I'm on the steering committee for the Safe Routes to School, and I said there, and I'll say again, it's the exact same route, exact same schools, everything that when I graduated, and I graduated in 1983. So nothing's really changed. I know a lot is out of your hands because the bridge is Caltrans, but I'm hoping on this committee we can figure out something. And until then, I really don't feel that the housing, wherever they put it, if they have to connect to any of our infrastructures, is going to be a positive for the city of Gonzales and its community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just take it off. I don't know what to do with it. Good evening, City Council and fellow residents of Gonzales. My name is Luis Vargas of 1501 Champagne Way. If you do not know me, I am also here regarding the H2A housing project that has been proposed, and I strongly believe that it should not move forward for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, the new H2A housing development needs one thing in order to move forward, and is acceptance of the city to use its utilities. That being said, the city does not have the infrastructure to support both an H2A development and residential development that is currently in the works. Reason number two is, like mentioned before, we have been in the works with Pembroke to build a new residential development, school, and shopping center, and on the exact site of town that the H2A program is being proposed on. That being said, the city's residents have been patiently waiting for many years for a new development to be made for the chance of home ownership. I know that is very important for not only myself, but fellow residents as well, and also their children. To further delay this development is the hindering of the relationship of its citizens and also the Pembroke developers. To close my statement, I would like to ask the City Council and Mayor one simple question, and is that, do you want to be remembered as the City Council and Mayor that put the city's residents first? Or do you want to be remembered as the City Council and Mayor that put H2A first? Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this subject? Seeing no one running up to the podium, then I'll go ahead and ask Stella. Stella, do we have any via Zoom?
No, we don't.
Okay, thank you very much. Mary, any additional comments via email?
No comments via email.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on with the agenda. We're moving on to the consent agenda. Staff has requested to remove item 13. They need to do a little further studying on that. I only had some comments on the warrants, and I'll bring that up when the time becomes available. Any other items from council that they would like pulled? Anyone from the public wishing to pull an item on the consent agenda?
You know, I don't have a copy of the agenda.
But there should be as you walked in at the table as you walked in. All right.
I would like to,
Which one would you like to have pulled?
if I could, like to have pulled, number 7, number 8, number 11, and number 9.
Okay, 7, 8, 9, and 11.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to pull?
Number 10. Number 10.
7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Okay. Anyone else from the public wishing to pull an item? Okay. Stella, anyone else via Zoom?
No,
Okay. Any comments via email, Mary?
nothing via email.
Okay. We'll go ahead and bring up the items in the order, but first I just want to make a comment on the warrants list. I know you saw this. I believe it's warrant 492. Sorry. She wrote it here, but not big enough. 49282 and 281. Those two items are for our hotspots. It's a total of $30,000. And while I feel it was extremely important during the pandemic, currently we've been out of the pandemic for a while. And I do know that Spectrum offers a extremely low priced internet service at $18 and plus a month for any of our residents that are currently receiving free or reduced lunch from school. And I believe all our residents qualify for that. I'd like to have that in the future considered. Do we want to continue to do that? And I would say that probably 80% of the Wi-Fi hotspots are currently being used by students. I think that's something that the school district with their surplus budget should be picking up rather than the council. That's my 2 cents. And so, like I said, I just want to make that comment. So kind of put that in the back of your heads and start thinking about that. All righty. Ms. Rodriguez, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Mr. Mayor, if we could, do you want to move approval with the other items first before you go to those items?
All right, we can do that.
I can make the motion, Mr. Mayor, on the consent agenda, approval of items 4, 5, 6, 12, and 14.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Oh, excuse me, yeah, second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Thank you, Mr.
those
Mayor.
items are done.
Okay.
7, 8, 9. Ms. Rodriguez, would you please step up to the podium and ask your questions?
Well, the only questions that I have is that before, I mean, when I used to attend city council meetings a while ago, people would go around the table and read their reports. And as a resident, you know, it was very informational to me to know what was happening within the police department, with the fire department, with the public works department, and who was here before, Mr. Lopez, I think. Like, I believe personally that the supervisor should also be here from Public Works, you know, because to be honest with you, there's a lot of things within our city that need to be updated. And I'm also on the Safe Routes to School Committee, because there's a lot of areas where we really need improvement. And that's the only reason I wanted them pulled, is because I want to hear what's going on within the department so that I could be better educated as a resident.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
is staff ready to give a brief synopsis of those reports?
Well, Mr. Mayor, all those reports are available online.
Oh, they are online.
I know they're the, and I mean, the city manager mentioned to me, I'm speaking to it, but the titles are here, but all the detail is available for every meeting online.
Okay. And
prior week. And when at the end of the meeting, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I know at the end of the meeting, staff does have also speak to highlights. That's the end of the meeting.
So at the end of the meeting, staff does bring up the highlights for each of their reports.
Yes, however, but there's really not, at the end of the informational report, but it's not something that we could really comment on.
If you read them online, then you could comment. And we are in the process, we're trying to work out to improve our online system. I'm going to be meeting with a gentleman tomorrow to hopefully improve those systems a little bit more, to make it a little easier and more, including Facebook, to access public information, so that way you're as informed as we are.
Also, if I may, if you read the reports on that we're talking about, and then make a list of your questions, that would be the time that you could come up here and speak to us and ask the questions of each of the staff members. Because just as an extra.
If I can add, if anybody needs a printed copy of the agenda, because all of that information is there, but if anybody has trouble accessing the online version, if anybody wants a printed copy, you can come before give us a day or two. That way you have time to review the packet, and we can print you a copy so that you have it with you if you want to review it. But all this is available, as Mr. Funk said, online. On the agenda packet in its complete form is available on our city website.
Okay. So at this point, Ms. Rodriguez, we're going to go ahead and close that and bring it back to council. Do I have a motion for approval of the items that were pulled?
I would like to approve items 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 13.
Oh, yeah, 13. Not 13.
Oh, 13 we
staff
pulled. We pulled
staff
13.
pulled that.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Apologize. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. Do I have a second? Second. All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Moving on to the regular agenda item, and this is an update on the community center.
I'm almost ready.
No problem, Mr. Dobbins.
No. All right, great. Mayor, council members, good evening. Patrick Dobbins, your Public Works Director, and working very hard on the community center projects. We gave updates at your August 21st meeting and your September 5th council meeting. We're back in front of you tonight because we're grinding through the design development phase of this project. I'm joined with Brendan of WRNS, and of course, Kim, you've seen before with Auto Construction. They're representatives, of course, of our design build team. So as you're aware, this agreement with Auto Construction WRNS was approved at your June 5th council meeting. Notice to proceed was issued about 10 days later, and it includes design of phase 1 and phase 2 of the community center project. So phase 1 is the Teen Innovation Center, the county library that's going to be relocated from the Gonzalez Shopping Center, meeting rooms, restrooms, and a courtyard with amphitheater and associated site improvements, which means parking lot, landscaping, walking trails, stormwater, water, sewer, stormwater utilities. And then phase 2 is the community center, which includes the community hall, fitness center, commercial kitchen, meeting rooms, and more restrooms. So as mentioned in the staff reports, we have updates in 2 different sections to provide. And one is the funding and financing. And then the other, where Brandon will get up and step through the slide deck, is the building design and site layout. So the updates on the funding and financing, just as a big overview, the construction of this very significant civic project, estimated to cost approximately $35 million, will be funded by a number of sources, including city sales tax, affectionately called Measure X, $5 million state grant secured by State Senator Ana Caballero, community development block grant funding over the next 2 fiscal years, $1.8 million from the county, which is their contribution to relocate the library, and various grants. So 2 updates are the capital campaign currently has contributions and pledges of $6.6 million. And that's, we're working towards the $10 million goal. Mayor Rios mentioned how he's meeting quite a bit with David Armanasco. Carmen Gill is very involved in this effort too. So that continues to grow, the pledges and contributions. The other update, which was a very significant milestone, was receiving formal approval from the United States Department of Agriculture for a $9.8 million loan that we've secured the money to move forward with phase 1 construction. And so city staff worked very hard on that, or the city staff and our project team. I need to kudos to our Swinnerton project manager, NHA, our financial advisor, Mike Howard, our finance director, grinding away pretty much since the beginning of the year on this application. So there was a pre-application and then the formal application. Formal application was made on July 5th of this year. And then on October 4th, we received the email that we've been, fingers crossed, looking forward to, approved for the $9.8 million loan, as you heard. So with that, I'm going to jump into so the building design and layout. And so as you heard at our, the August meeting and the September meeting, there's really 5 steps at this point in time to design and construct the community center. So right now we're in we're really wrapping up the design development. So that's taking the design criteria document, the proposal that the design build team came forward with, and continuing to refine it and really roll in our sleeves, looking at the the layout of each building and the parts that go into each building and the courtyard and things of that nature. So this is where we can say, you know, we'd like the walls a certain color. We're picking out some of the finishings and fixtures and things of that nature. And at the end of this month, we'll jump into preparation of the construction documents, and that'll take us through February. Then the next step is to receive the city building permits and for auto construction to obtain their bids from their various subcontractors. So that basically occurs March of next year. Fingers crossed, we will have a groundbreaking ceremony towards the end of April. Auto construction will begin the actual construction, end of April, early May. And again, if we stay on track, phase 1 will be completed November of 2025. The construction of phase 2 is completely dependent on raising the funds to move forward with the community, the community center, community hall, commercial kitchen, fitness center. That's you know, one of the things that we highlight in the staff report at our, the September 5th meeting, where the council asked what would it take to expand the community hall from 280 seats in the banquet style seating to 350 seating. Again, that's banquet style. And you know, there's mentioned in the staff report, and then also we have a slide that it's basically $1.7 million cost with something under $80,000 in design fees, and that would impact the current schedule by 2 months or slightly more. I know I highlight in my staff report a number of meetings. I won't rattle these off, but it did start September 12th. The design build team going to Gonzales High School during their lunch break, and presenting the project, getting their input, and having some raffle items to increase the turnout, so to speak. So then there's other meetings, including with the building official, library staff, Fire Chief Jason, and Public Works staff to talk about the grounds. We met on October 10th with user groups, the community hall and commercial kitchen user groups. And also on October 10th, the design build team met with the GYC and for 2 hours talked about the different aspects of the Teen Innovation Center. And with that, I'm going to turn it to Brandon to step us through the slide deck that's in your packet. This is the slide deck slightly updated from the one that's in the packet, so look for the Easter eggs.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you all for having us again. We're always excited to come down here. I think this is my 5th or 6th time that I've been in Gonzales since June. So I feel like I'm getting to know the city very well. Also the process that we've gone through, and Patrick alluded to this, but meeting with the different user groups, meeting with the GYC has been a great opportunity for us to really get to know the community and make sure that we're hearing what the community is asking for and trying to apply that as much as we can to our design. So on the screen here, so and just to kind of preface this, again, this is just an update of where we are. It's a snapshot. There's a lot of moving pieces. So anything that you see on the screen is not quite permanent, but we're trying to work our way to that. So on the screen here is our current site plan with some highlights for more of the public amenity spaces on the exterior, showing where the amphitheater is, identifying the drop-off zones in the parking lot, calling out some of the programmable space within the courtyards, as well as showing how the buildings kind of nestle around this space to create a more secluded private space that people can use during the day. Next slide, please. And then just for site statistics, so overall site is about 160,000 square feet. The building area with the 2 buildings is approximately 19,000 square feet. 90 total parking stalls, 17 are EV stalls, with 5 of the 17 being with the charge stations there at the time that the project opens. The other 12 are EV ready, so there'll be time for people to come in and install new charge stations to make those capable. We have 2 drop-off zones, as I alluded to, and then we are planning for 15 bicycle racks for temporary parking. Next slide, please. Okay, and so this slide is to kind of highlight the program that's in each of the different buildings. So building A, the library is approximately 4,000 square feet. The teen center, which is the innovation lab and lounge, nearing 3,000 square feet. And then the lighter blue on the bottom wing, those are the office and consultation rooms. And those are all part of phase 1. As soon as, or when phase 2 is built, the office and consultation rooms will be given back towards the teen center. And those offices will move into the dedicated community center office space, which is in part of the phase 2. So updates from what you guys saw last in phase 2, we removed the built-in stage. And so that allowed us to up our capacity for seating within the community hall. So we're reaching 280 right now. There's the technical memo that you guys had seen before that shows how we can reach 350, but this is where we are right now. Then we have the light, or kind of, the light green on the left, where we have the community service or community center offices, a block of restrooms, then the commercial kitchen, and then the fitness down on the page south side. Next slide, please. And we all know that for us, looking at plans is very easy, but for people who aren't dealing with architects very often, we like to present things that help visualize things a little bit easier. So we created this axon, which is basically a 3-dimensional view of the building with the ceilings cut off so that everybody can kind of see what's inside. We added some furniture so you get an idea of programming of each of the spaces, but this is just a reiteration of what the program of each of the buildings is. Next slide, please. And new to you all, because I don't think we've had the chance to present any of the exterior views, we've started to share these out with Patrick and Carmen, showing fenestration, showing different materials, and things of that sort. And so these are flat views of each of the sides of the buildings. This is building A. You can see, so the bottom right corner is a view from inside the courtyard towards the interface of Building A. So you see that on the right-hand side of that, the entry to the library. Left-hand side of that is a little bathroom bank on the far side that has the 2 gender-neutral restrooms. And then the top right is a view of the library itself from the drive out of the parking lot. Others, I think it's easier if you guys kind of just cruise around the building and kind of pick out where these are. It's a little bit harder to do without a plan in front of this at the same time. But there's views for the different sides of the library and different sides of the Teen Innovation Lab. Next slide, please. And this is same thing for Building B. The views on the bottom left is looking at the community hall from the courtyard. You can see that there's the folding doors in the middle below that central awning. And so that kind of opens up and allows that community hall to have an aspect of interior and exterior at the same time. And then the view to the right of that, number 3, is the opposite side of the community hall. Those are the 2 most important to pick out. Next slide, please. Okay, and this is another view looking at the north face, or the northeast face of the building, with certain materials called out and other precedent images of those types of materials being applied, just to kind of give you a better idea of what you might expect when you see when the building is built. And just to kind of help that along, the white material is an EIFS. It's a plaster material. The kind of orangish material is a wood-like panel that's got some grain in it. It's a phenolic wood panel is what it's called. The roofing on the community hall, the library, and the Teen Innovation Lab is a standing seam metal roof. And then the glazing is predominantly curtain wall with the pattern as shown in the glazing, and with kind of dark bronze mullions. And these are just some views that we shared with the GYC last week, with the exception of the community hall and library, just giving them an idea of what the interior might feel like. We had a great conversation with them. We had 2 different palettes with a number of different options to choose from, and we got some good feedback from them, and we're taking that now, applying it to these, which is not in these images, and working through some kinks of making sure that the tones are the right color, furniture is the right type of furniture, things like that. So, and then the 2 images on the right give a better idea of sort of the space that's there for the community hall and a library without any furniture. So the library's furniture will all be furnished by the librarians, and so we're kind of waiting on that to fill in the space there, and that will help delineate some of the spaces there as well. So
great.
Yep. So that's where we are now. And we are continuously working as hard as we can to move things forward. So
thanks, Brandon. Well, that concludes our presentation. Definitely interested in. Oh, the flight crew. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Carmen.
Thank you, Carmen. So we had prepared a video moving through the project a couple of weeks ago that we shared with Patrick and Carmen that really gives you a better understanding of the look and feel and scale of the space. maybe you want to pause really quick here. And just to kind of orient you where we are, and then you can kind of follow through. But front of the library on the right-hand side, community hall on the left, or community center on the left-hand side. And so this is looking into the courtyard from that drive aisle, just coming off of 5th Street. So this is from 5th Street, looking at the corner of the library. Then coming down to the teen lounge and the game room. Yeah, so the intent was for it to be kind of a beacon for people to be able to see inside as they're approaching the building, kind of see what's going on inside, and for them to feel a little bit more connected. And the community hall here. Okay,
great.
That's it.
Thanks, Brandon. So that concludes the presentation. Ready for comments, questions, and also like to get the council's feedback on, do we expand the community hall from the 280 seating to 350 at the cost that you heard? That's it. Thank you.
First of all, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item may do so at this time.
Rosa Rodriguez, 307 Ayrshire Way. Well, first, thank you very much for working on the project, because we're looking forward to it like a lot. And so we're all excited about that. And one thing that I would actually like to see, I mean, unfortunately, we had to go to CHOMP because we had an emergency, but the dome and the light through the dome at CHOMP, I don't know. I would like to see kind of like more light, like natural light where the roof would be. I mean, that's what I would like to see. In addition to that, I mean, I'm a basketball player. At 50 years old, I still play basketball. And I know that we don't have space for a gym, but I know like the YMCA, they're able to accommodate, you know, dances, they're able to accommodate gym. They have all these arts and crafts. They have all these things for the teens, a multi-use facility. And I hope that they could play basketball in there, because our Mayor Park court is not good. I went to go play basketball out there because I was stressed, and the ground is not fit for basketball, and it's so windy, the ball goes different ways, and I couldn't even shoot baskets like I normally would. Even though I'm 50, I could play. So I wish it could be like a multi-use area. In addition to that, well, you know, I just want to see that completed. And another thing is I would also like a permanent stage. I know a lot of people, we say we want, and I know it costs money. But believe me, a permanent stage is going to be better than 20 other seats. Or how many other seats are going to fit in there. And the reason why, I was actually invited to go up on a stage on one of our church festivals, and I almost tripped on those cables that they try to, you know, fix while the band is playing out there. You can't, it's hard to dance up there. It's hard to move up there. And I would rather have a permanent stage where all the wires and everything fixed where they're supposed to, so that if there's theater or bands or anything, you don't have to worry about tripping over cables. And I never thought it was so dangerous until I got up there. It was beautiful, you know, everything was staged very nice, but it's not if somebody's going to trip up there. So those are my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and ask Stella, anybody on Zoom?
No comment.
Thank you. Mary, any comments via email?
No comments being.
Okay, back to council discussion.
Thank you for listening to us. I mean, you came up with some alternatives for us. I'm someone who doesn't think we need 350 seats, but that's just me, and I'm only one person up here. I think that the 280 is fine because we're going to have to spend more money, obviously, to do that. I have no problem with a temporary stage, and let me tell you why. I have worked on many stages in my lifetime, and I've worked on permanent stages and I've worked on temporary stages. And as long as you work them the right way, they'll be fine. So that's my 2 cents. I appreciate the fact that you went back in and made some changes for us based on what we all talked about last time. And we are going to have a gymnasium down the road. So thank you. That's all I have.
I'm just curious. You mentioned 280 seating. What would it be without seating? Because that's banquet style, the 280 banquet style.
Correct. Yes. Off the top of my head, I don't have the numbers. I think it was in something that we shared with you all the last time, where we had a number of different scenarios for how the space might be used. So there was everything from stage performance to crafts fair to an indoor-outdoor space, and I believe that we listed the numbers there. So I can look it up and get that back to you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm just, again, yeah, the stage is, it's a challenge. I'd be interesting to see what comes back in terms of the types of stages that are available that you can easily remove and put back together. And
I also think we had someone like Emily and Coley McBride, who are both people who know a lot about staging. I trust their opinions. They're both, they've both done theater. They've done the music, they've done plays. They've done musical things. So I think it's good to have people that kind of know what's going on with that type of thing. I trust their opinions.
And they'll just be an added cost when people want to rent, because we have to have staff on site to put them together. And yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, first and foremost, thank you very much for your time and all your efforts, and appreciate the ongoing status. And it is great to see the progress, and it's moving forward. And so, yeah, we definitely don't want to slow anything down. Actually, and for my notes from prior, if I had correctly, I think 280 was equivalent to, I think I had down to 320 if I had it right, without the tables, but that might be higher than that. But and thank you for the numbers in respect to the additional seating. So we added another 70 seats, going to cost us 1.7 million. That's $24,000 a person for additional seats. That's a lot, and that's a lot of taxpayer money that I can't see us expending, or future grant, or future bond money, et cetera. That is a big lift. Obviously, if we had more large pocket donors, I know a lot of people in the community say, go out and let's make calls and so forth, and we have, and thank you to staff and Mr. Armanis has already left, but and all the efforts of the city manager and so forth in doing that, and we do have several $1 millions in, but we don't have tens and 20s of millions of dollars being coming in, so we're still in single digits. So that being said, it does limit us to the extra stuff we want to do, as the numbers are coming in. So again, appreciate it. I know my comments before, I was curious on what the cost was, just so we know that, as opposed to blindly going forward and saying, oh, it's going to cost more. But and I think before you guys estimated 1.5, so 1.7. There you go. So it's a big number. But I'm satisfied with the questions and concerns I had a couple of months ago.
Well, I'll make the comment that I think we're selling ourselves short, only because we're basing this community center on our current population, which I think will keep it pretty big. If the housing that we've got planned comes through, then that will be
Mhm.
far too small, but that's neither here nor there. We got to work with what we got and we don't have the money, so I'm willing to just stay with what we got. I wish I had the $2 million or so that we would need to add the additional space, because we're going to do this once. And I can't, at least not for me, I won't be able to say that I'll see another community center in my lifetime. And I do hope that as the community sees it come to fruition, that more people will step up and we can get that gymnasium built, because long-term, that is the intent, Ms. Rodriguez, to answer your concerns or questions about a future gymnasium. It is planned, but it's all a matter of this. I wish it was as simple as just saying, here's, a couple $100,000, let's build it. With today's current costs to build and construct, it's just not going to happen anytime soon. That being said, again, thank you to staff, and thank you for reaching out to the kids at the high school, because I'm hoping they're the ones that are going to be there constantly. Keep them off the street and keep them busy doing something productive and interesting. That being said, I'm okay with what we got. So like I said, I'd like more, but you got to be realistic. The money is not there. Can't spend what I don't got. All righty. What else do you need from staff, Mr. Dobbins?
Nothing else. We're good.
Okay, we're good.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Council.
All righty. Moving on to the agenda, then we have the Gonzales Youth Commissioners. Your report.
Our update with the GYC connects to having a great outcome with the college and career fair that happened this past Saturday at the high school, which resulted in mostly seniors finding out what college or career options they're interested in, as well as having our, like Patrick and Brandon had mentioned, our build and design team come and share some samples of tiles and or wood that we youth feel would be great to welcome for our community in the community center. The meeting that we had with the group really gave us a chance to engage and connect, as well as share each other's feedbacks of what they shared with us. We also will continue to be working with them in the future updates. We also had two of our ambassadors, Valeria and BNA, who did a presentation at the CSUMB with Dr. Laval and her assistants of the Mental Health Survey and the Mental Health Summit, which resulted at workshops consisting of the mental health data, which also came back including of people outside of Gonzales. The workshop included of ideas other communities see within mental health and how they could create those big changes. Our last update is the meeting we had with our superintendent, Dr. Zamora. At this meeting, she informed us of implanting an early college program at the high school and how students can graduate with their AA degree. This will happen next school year. We will also be meeting with her every month or so. And that is her update.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, moving back to council reports. League of Cities, I have nothing to report. Ambag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We actually did just have a meeting here this last week. I think the main item of interest for the city is we talked about RHNA, the state RHNA numbers in the past year. Now the current item on the agenda is the regional forecast, which goes out to 2050. And the early numbers, I know they're working with the various our planning departments across the region. But in the more regional perspective, their early number is they have population only going up 2.4%. But the piece that's I think probably as much or more of interest to us is that housing and jobs are neck and neck at going up at 15 and 14%. So the expectations are that we continue to build. Obviously, the population mix changes with existing population getting older and all that fun stuff and new births and all those things. But it's interesting. But having said that, that's the high level. The next step for AMBAG and staff and working with our planning department, plan directors over the next several months is to break it down to by city. So we should have information either through the planning director or myself over the next 4 or 5, 6 months in respect to what they're looking at for Gonzales. That's it for AMBAG.
MST.
Well, just so everyone knows, I had an emergency that popped up, so I wasn't able to attend the meeting, but I did get some highlights of what happened. MST, for those of you that don't know, just celebrated 50 years. So we received a congressional record honoring the 50th anniversary. We solidified our list of projects for 2024. And we also have 11 buses, which are authorized for the disposition of 11 MST buses, which means if anyone is looking for buses, please contact myself or and I can send that off to MST. The other thing I wanted to talk about just quickly is that we did have the MST staff come last week to meet with Carmen and Patrick for the very same reason that I couldn't be there, was because of this emergency. They did listen to our concerns, and they are working on finalizing the updates for where these MST spots are going to go. So that's all I have at this point. So thank you.
I will ask you to resubmit again, because I requested it once before already. The Gonzales Youth Guardians have asked for one of the smaller buses.
I'm not sure of the size, so I'll have to find that out.
So they're looking for a twofold use to, create venues that they can take the youth to, but they're also hoping that they can also take the seniors out. So it'll get double use. And at the time that the school was using our van, they were even willing to consider letting the school use that for their tennis teams and their golf teams.
One of the biggest issues that I know that they faced in the past is trying to find someone to drive it, because you have to have a special license, Class C license to drive the bus. So that's one of the issues, is trying to find somebody who has that particular license. So, okay, I will check on that.
If you would, I'd appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All righty, oral communications. Mr. Orozco, would you mind starting?
Thank you. For all of those who attended our annual church carnival at St. Theodore's, thank you. It was a great success, a lot of good food. I also attended the College and Career Day at the high school. It was very well attended. The keynote speaker was Supervisor Lopez, who gave a very good keynote speech, and inspiring speech for the students. They had several workshops for the students and their parents and the community in general, and they were very good workshops. So it is their second year, and I think it's going to become an annual tradition to have this event every year. The ACOMI conference, sponsored by the Monterey County Behavioral Health Department, will take place this weekend, also at the high school. It's a very good conference as well. So once again, thank you. And also our Dia de los Muertos celebration will be held this year. I believe it's November the 2nd. And they're also looking for sponsors for anybody who can donate hot chocolates, some pastries, activities for the kids. They can see me or talk to Monica as well. They're looking for some donations. Thank you.
Mr. Brown?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Mayor. Just briefly, I want to thank staff and for all your efforts. Do appreciate all the efforts of your staffs and the efforts you put in yourselves and directing your departments. So had the opportunity to spend over the last few weeks being in several different communities, and it's always interesting to see what's happening in other communities and come back home and see what's happening here and so forth. And frankly, I'm always impressed. And so thank you very much for all your efforts. Our community does have an amazing group of employees. So thank you very much. Pass along, but we have a gym here, and it's much appreciated. So thank you.
Ms. Worthy?
Okay, we will be having our annual fundraiser for the auxiliary this year. It will run next week, October 23rd through the 27th. It's a tri-tip sandwich with all of the fixings. It's $20 a ticket. You pick up your lunches at Luigi's. If anyone is looking for tickets, you can either contact myself or Councilmember Silva. Also, to let you know, the auxiliary will be holding trick or treat at the American Legion Hall on the 31st of October, where we'll be handing out little goodie bags to any of the kids that want to come by and say hello. So that will be from about 5 o'clock to 7. Thank you.
I have a couple things. On one of our rides backs from the ag mitigation committees that Carmen, myself, and Tavin have been attending, Carmen came up initially with the idea and Tavin jumped right in on it. They thought, you know, we are quote unquote the wine capital, and yet we don't even have a wine festival. So they thought that a wine festival would be a great idea, and I wholeheartedly concur with that. Just as I've started kind of putting feelers out there. I know they are, but you know. Yep. Well, I've spoken to Mark Pizzoni. He says he's in on it. I spoke to Mr. Caraccioli. He says, count me in. I imagine Monica over at the winery will probably say yes. So, a question for our attorney. No more than 2 of us can be on a committee, correct? So I'm going to get them all working. All right. We'll have to figure something out. Yeah. That's an idea. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, the other thing I was thinking is if you're going to have the wine festival, maybe a couple good catering trucks, because I know we have a couple of restaurants, but, you know, I think if, you know, having people also eat something rather so that way it doesn't go right to their head, and they can enjoy a little more wine if they're eating. Okay. Oh, 35,000. Wow. Well, we'll throw some ideas out there. We'll figure something out. That was one comment that I had. The next comment that I had, and I think Mr. Martinez, I have to give him kudos that I think he had a good idea that we need to at least, and again, this I was going to go, since I have TAMC next week, I was going to go directly to the assistant director and say, how do we get some signage on there that says school crossing at the bridge? Because I think, you know, what I would love is a flashing yellow on each of the 4 intersections there, but I'm not sure if that's even feasible. I know that there's solar, so it would just be a matter of, but again, would Caltrans do that? I don't know. So I was going to ask those questions.
Excuse me, Mayor. Can you guys speak into the mic? Councilwoman Silva is trying to listen in, and
okay.
She's trying to she's catching every other word if you don't speak in.
Sorry, Liz. We'll work on that. So a flashing yellow light to indicate when kids are crossing, I think would be a very advantageous idea on all 4 of those intersections. How do we get there? Would it be Caltrans? Would it be us? I don't know. I was going to approach Brandy, the new assistant director, at next TAMC's meeting. Comments, concerns from staff?
I think that'd be great for you to bring up, Mayor Rios. And we can do it through staff, and I am following up on something that Rosa Rodriguez asked for related to the Safe Routes to Schools Steering Committee, which is a jurisdictional map. I made the request last week. I'm still waiting. A jurisdictional map, 5th Street Bridge. What is Caltrans and what is the city right of way?
Okay.
So couldn't we use some of that
Potentially, again, it depends if it's what's doable, being that it is on the bridge. I know that the committee is meeting and staff is also meeting with folks who are running the committee, and Mr. Dobbins is going to be attending their next meeting actually to answer some questions in regards to what the city's been doing around the efforts of studying what could be done on the bridge. I know there's been a long time work and studies that have been done. And so the committee wants to better understand what that has looked like and what we've heard to then assess what potentially those, I believe it's $250,000 that the city is being awarded. So what that money can actually go towards. So they're there is work around that.
Well, my concern is that we study this thing to death and nothing really ever gets done. In the meantime, we've got one child hit already. I personally don't want to be the council that sees an actual death on that bridge. I do know that, just to share with you, in one of my conversations with Mr. John Culligan, he says, I noticed that our site, their 130-acre parcel, has a school. Do we really need a school there? I said, John, you've told me you've been in the traffic situation a number of times, because he does come down to the various ranches. And if you look around Gonzales, this is where the majority of DeRegal property is. That's why they're so adamant about the H2A housing, because they got ranches west of Gonzales, they got ranches east of Gonzales, they got ranches north of Gonzales. This is probably their biggest land holding location. And so I shared with them that, you know what, if you look in the morning, how many vehicles have a little toddler in there? Parents are trying to be safe with their children. So as many that can drive will drive to the school. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever the case may be, all the schools, as Mrs. Gonzalez said, they were there and when she graduated from here, and they're still the only schools in Gonzales. So as a parent that would live, if I lived on that side of town, I can honestly tell you, one of the reasons I live on this side of town was because my wife got tired of the back and forth. I remember the day that I came home, she says, you know what? I have made 8 trips across town today. And I looked at her, I said, and? She says, let's find a house on the other side of town. Band practice, karate practice, homework, catechism. I'm done. And I totally agreed with her. I said, I totally agree with you. Let's go back to the old side of town. It just made more sense when you have all the services over here, including, of all things, the post office. It's so convenient. Police, fire, everything's on this side of town. So we need to do something to make it easier for the people on the east side of our community to cross and easily cross that 5th Street Bridge. It's getting pretty ugly. And like I said, my biggest concern is I don't want to hear about a child being run over and killed. That's my biggest concern. And, it's just, I'm not sure I could sleep with myself, not knowing that we didn't try to do something forever and nothing's getting done. Last item on my agenda, I wanted to wish our city manager a happy early birthday. She's part of the Scorpio gang. I'll be completing a couple years older than you in the near future. So, but I wanted to wish you a pretty happy birthday, Ms. Gill. Thank you. Oral Communications City Manager.
Yes, just real briefly, I have 3 things to share. I think it's 3. So first of all, on the 19th, there will be a Housing Element Forum in Soledad. Mr. Keenan Brown will be there on behalf of the city, along with other representatives from the other communities that are working on the housing element to discuss policies that make sense for our South Valley cities. We are actually having a fall festival here in Gonzales. So if you haven't heard, that is going to be October 28th, 4 to 7. And we are still looking for folks who want to do the trunk or treat. So trunk or treat is going to be part of it. That's where folks set up their car and give out candy as the kids go across and do the trick or treating. They're still looking for more cars to participate in that. We are getting donations from Braga Farms for pumpkins. So we will be giving away pumpkins as well for the kiddos. So there's going to be food and it's just fun activities. So invite everybody to come out on that day. And then we are also having the movie in the park on the 21st at Centennial Park, starting at 7 o'clock. So if you want more information, go ahead and call the city or visit our social media sites. It's also in the packet for more information. So invite all of you, but the public as well. Hopefully we are looking forward to do more and more. And actually recreation staff is very excited to do more and more activities to unite the public. So great. I'm sure they're going to get excited about the wine festival. And potentially our car show is coming back early next year. So.
Anything else from staff?
Just kind of inverse here. We tried a citywide yard and garage sale, and I'm wondering if there's any impressions from council members as you looked around town or your own block and might have a suggestion on how we can enhance that or improve that, or just what some of your ideas were. There was 80 signups, and I do remember passing Councilwoman Silva with the parade wave as she was driving, looking at yard sales. And
there's quite a few out there. The only thing I would recommend is to send an email, because I know emails were sent out, to go and take down your signs.
And from what I saw, there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't imagine people wanting to take back into their house. But you know, we're following up this weekend, of course, with the Tri-Cities big cleanup or the.
That's this weekend.
Yes, this weekend. Yeah, timing wise, great having the community-wide yard sales, right?
Very
and then this week we we have the community cleanup. So yeah, good timing. Yep. Yes, indeed.
And, you know, as the first one, you know, people will talk about it, and maybe, you know, the second one. And because I really found in my neighboring city to where I live, it seemed really like community oriented. I mean, people talking in their driveways and, hey, you know, maybe Fred here could use my mower, and why don't we offer it to him? You know, stuff like that seemed like it was happening. So maybe there's more of that.
Definitely.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was out of this weekend, and my wife's like, "Oh, good." She accuses me of being a rat pack. That all I want to go do is go find more junk to bring home. And she goes, nope. Yeah, I know I like George for a reason. Anything else from staff?
So let's see, the only update from Public Works, as you know, on the water sewer rates, the Proposition 218, the notices were mailed out, utility rate payers and the property owner, and that went out end of September. We're going to have a utility bill stuffer go out at the end of October, basically possibly put in a little more layperson speak than the long notice that went out. And then, of course, that Proposition 218 process ends at your November 20th council meeting as part of a public hearing. And that's it from Public Works.
Mr. Bushu?
Good evening. Just briefly, through our partnership with the Red Cross, I do have about a dozen or so smoke detectors that are available right now, free of charge to the public. The catch is we have to come to your home and install them. So if you know of anybody that needs a smoke detector, or if you need your smoke detector changed out, come see us or give us a call and make an appointment, and we'll come take care of it. And if there happens to be cookies baking at the time we come by, so much the better. And also, just briefly, Paul says 92 was the last Grape Stampede.
92. Okay. Chief?
Yeah, the only thing I have is the PD will be participating again and hosting the 25th National Drug Take Back Day. Saturday, October 28th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the PD, as usual. We encourage anyone that has any unused, unwanted, or expired prescription drugs to stop by and dispose of them. The following Monday, we'll be taking them to DEA to have them destroyed.
There you go. You had the spade and neuter for the dogs. Have you decided on dates for next year? Did you say we're going to do it again next year?
Well, we're planning on having another one. I'm trying to get a cat one scheduled for November sometime. Okay. So we're working with the SPC on that. I can't remember. Do we have that dog one in October, or was that September? We just had it.
Yeah, you just had one, but I know you said you're
taken. I think we had 15 slots available. We had 15 local dogs that were spayed or neutered. All received, the vaccinations if they needed them, and they also got a microchip, and that whole thing cost $35. So you can't beat it.
Yeah.
So I like to try to alternate the dog clinic one time, cat clinic next time, dog clinic, just keep it rotating a couple times every year.
Okay.
Great. Trying to get the cat one in November.
Right.
Chief, someone did ask me if you were going to have a haunted house again this year.
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to work on it.
No, thank you.
I do just want to mention, if you haven't had a chance to check out Andrea Cepeda's video, we've been hearing a lot about responsible owners for your pets and dogs and cats, etc. And Andrea Cepeda, our CSO, did a short video that went out to the public, showing how to take care of your dog, making sure that, you know, they're on the leash when you take them for a walk, but also cleaning up after the dogs. So we've heard a lot of that, and we are hearing and listening and trying to be proactive on those types of issues. So if you haven't seen it, check out our social media site and reshare it.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes, indeed.
We stand adjourned.